When a new homeowner stumbles across a massive rusted barrel hidden in a crawl space, he has no idea he's about to uncover a decades-old murder mystery. Inside are the mummified remains of a pregnant woman, perfectly preserved. But as investigators dig deeper, they find a haunting clue, a handwritten note left by the victim herself. It reads, "Don't be mad. I told the truth." So, who is she talking to? What truth did she reveal? And did those words seal her fate? Let's recap. It all starts in 1999 when a man buys a house in Jericho, New York. As he's checking out the place, he spots something strange. A rusty 55-gallon metal barrel shoved into a tiny crawl space under the house. It's huge, weighing 345 pounds. Now, he wants nothing to do with it and tells the seller, get rid of it. This house was built in 1957, and over the years, 3 different owners had seen the barrel. No one ever touched it, it just sat there for decades. Until this 4th owner finally said, enough. But there's a problem. When the garbage crew shows up, they refuse to take it, worried it might be toxic waste. So the seller decides to open it up himself. He pries off the lid, looks inside, and freezes. Inside the drum is another container. Inside that, he sees a hand and a shoe. Police rush to the scene, and when they open the barrel completely, they find a woman's body and her 8.5-month-old unborn baby. But here's what makes it even more chilling. Because the barrel was airtight, everything inside is shockingly well preserved. The young woman is petite, just 4 feet 9 inches tall, with long black hair. She's dressed in a skirt, button-down sweater, high socks, and shoes, all styles from decades ago. She's even wearing jewelry and a leopard print coat, and still has her pocketbook filled with makeup like she was frozen in time. The autopsy reveals she was brutally killed with a blow to the back of the head, at least 25 to 30 years before she was found. Who was she? Who put her there? And why did they want her to disappear? The biggest break in the case comes from a simple, old-fashioned clue. An address book found with her body. Using a forensic imaging device, they managed to recover some of the faded writing. As they go through it, they find something even more disturbing. A handwritten note tucked inside on a scrap of paper. It reads, "Don't be mad. I told the truth." Doesn't that single sentence send a shiver down your spine? And that old address book isn't done giving up its secrets. On one of the pages, investigators uncover a social security number and an alien resident number belonging to a 28-year-old woman named Reyna Marroquin. They also find a phone number. Hoping for a lead, they dial the number, and against all odds, it still belongs to the same person. A friend of Reyna's from decades ago. When detectives meet her, they show her Reyna's immigration photo. The woman immediately recognizes her, and then she drops a bombshell. In 1966, Reyna Marroquin arrives in the United States from El Salvador looking for a new beginning. At just 25 years old and newly divorced, she's ready to start over in New York City. At first, she works as a nanny, but soon finds a job at the Melrose Plastic Factory, where she makes plastic flowers. The factory is owned by Howard Elkins, a married father of 3 living in Jericho, New York. And it doesn't take long for Howard to notice his pretty new employee. What starts as flirty glances quickly becomes something more. And soon Reyna and Howard are having an affair, a secret romance that no one's supposed to know about. But then Reyna gets pregnant, and suddenly she's not just a mistress anymore, she's a problem. A very big problem for Howard Elkins, because if the truth got out, his entire life could come crashing down. To keep things quiet, Howard sets her up in an apartment in Hoboken, New Jersey. For months she lives there, probably thinking he'll do the right thing, but in the early spring of 1969, something changes. Reyna makes a frantic phone call to her friend, begging her to come over right away. She sounds terrified, and when the friend gets there, the door is unlocked. Food is still on the stove, but Reyna is gone. Before she vanished, she told her friend she had made a terrible mistake. The day before, she called Howard Elkins' wife and told her everything. She thought she was doing the right thing, but instead, she disappeared without a trace. When her friend tried to file a missing persons report, police brushed her off. 30 years Reyna Marroquin was forgotten until 1999 when the police called her number asking if she knew the lady in the barrel. Detectives have finally uncovered Reyna's fate, and now they're closing in on the man who put her there. That man? Howard Elkins. He had been the original homeowner living in the Jericho house until 1972 when he sold both the home and the plastic factory and moved his family to South Florida. But for some reason, he left the barrel and Reyna's body behind. Maybe he thought no one would ever find it. But now they have. Cornered, desperate, and out of time. Detectives fly down to Boca Raton, Florida, to confront 72-year-old Howard Elkins. At first, he plays it cool, answering questions like he has nothing to hide, but as detectives press harder, he starts cracking. He finally admits to having an affair with an employee, but when they ask for details, he suddenly can't remember her name or what she looked like. But here's the thing. Detectives don't need his confession. Forensic experts already have the biggest clue of all. The baby found in the barrel. DNA will prove everything. Howard knows it, and he's out of options. Within 24 hours, he makes his final move, one that all but confirms his guilt. As detectives work to get a court order for his DNA, Howard walks into a Walmart, buys a shotgun, and heads to his neighbor's garage. They're out of town, and he's been watering their plants. He climbs into the back of their car and ends his own life. Case closed. And later, when the DNA test comes back, the results are undeniable. Howard Elkins is the baby's father. And for years, he built his perfect life, a family, a business, and a spotless reputation. But when Reyna got pregnant, she became a threat to everything he'd worked for. If she demanded support or went public, it would ruin him. So police believe he did the unthinkable. He silenced Reyna and their unborn child to protect his secret. And he had the perfect way to hide the evidence. As an executive at a plastics company, Howard had easy access to industrial drums, just like the 55-gallon one Reyna was found in. Investigators tracked it back to his factory. Detectives think Howard's plan was simple: seal Reyna inside the drum and make it disappear. But there was one big problem. Once he packed the barrel, it was way too heavy to move. He was stuck. So instead of disposing of it, he stashed it in his home's crawl space, then walked away like nothing ever happened. For decades, Reyna's family in El Salvador had no idea what happened to her. The letters stopped, the money stopped, she had vanished without a trace. But here's the strangest part. Her mother knew something was wrong. For years, she had recurring nightmares about Reyna. In every dream, her daughter was trapped inside a barrel, unable to get out. Then, in 1999, the phone rang. Police had found Reyna, and just like that, the nightmares stopped. Her family brought her home, giving her the proper burial she was denied for so long. As for Howard Elkins' wife, police never found any evidence that she knew about the murder. No charges were ever filed. But one thing is certain. The truth refused to stay buried. And in the end, justice came knocking, even if it took 30 years. If Reyna hadn't called Howard's wife, do you think she would still have been killed, or was that the moment that sealed her fate? Let us know what you think in the comments, and if you like all the crime in half the time, hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a recap. I'm Chris. Amy and I are here 3 times a week with new stories. Until next time, stay safe out there.